I'm Dan Morris, you're watching Bosun Dan Bushcraft, except once again you are not. You are watching Bosun Dan faffing about with motorcycles. This was going to be a bushcraft video, but the Great British Weather has decided to say no and rain. So I can't be bothered to go out doing what I was going to be doing. It was going to be a bit of a fishing video, but I can't be bothered to sit in the rain and fish. I want summer time. I'm happy to do that in winter when it's winter and we don't have a choice. You'll see plenty of that, believe me, hopefully even a bit of snow work. But I want to do it while it's summer, and I certainly aren't doing a bike tour video on this old girl while it's pouring down, because two reasons. I'm sick of cleaning the thing when it gets all sprayed on the road. It's 42 years old. I can't be bothered with all the dirt and grime on it. I'm trying to keep it tidy, and now we're going into the third reason. I just don't really want to be riding in the rain, and it makes a terrible video. Just rainy, drizzly nonsense. And I know there'll be a few people out there who are going to go, "Oh, nice weather rider." Yeah, for about a decade I had only a motorcycle, no cars, and I commuted year round, all weather, and I'm frankly done with that. So call me what you like. But that is what it is. So, a couple of little basic tasks today. So, anyone who watched the last video I did with this bike, oh, by the way, there's obviously another bike, so there's another one behind me as well, but we won't go into that one. That one doesn't belong to me. Well, it's the same as this. It's a slightly older Super Dream. It's just pristinely restored, but that'll appear in other videos when we're touring and stuff. Don't worry about that. But there's a little one down there, and that is my Kawasaki KH125K. It is also a 1982, the same as this one here. I name everything. If you've watched many of my other videos, you'll know that the pickup truck, the caddy, is called Ernie. Well, that's little Sally. I named it bizarrely after Sally B, the Second World War Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, just because it's got a B on the number plate, basically. And I was at an air show, and I don't know, just put two and two together and called it Sally B, so that's what it is. And this one I call Gwen, after Guinevere. I don't know why, these names just pop in my head and then they stick. Don't know. We will be doing some videos on the little one at some point. Volume cranked down because it's a little two-stroke, and being a 125. Two strokes generally, they're just not happy unless they are accelerating, and it gets really, if you just want to hold it at one speed and sort of cruise on it, it just gets all poppy and bangy, and I don't know what it is with a two-stroke, but they're really not happy unless you're thrashing the living devil out of them. Two strokes by nature. But anyway, today with Gwen. Now this thing here, what happened, as if you've seen the last video that I did with this particular bike, delightful. She had a little tumble. Somebody knocks her over on a car park and broke a few bits on her, and you know, they paid for it. It's fine. It's cool. They paid for it. We've got new indicators and stuff out of it. But it also put quite a big dink in the headlight rim. Now, I didn't actually ask the young lady who knocked it over for any money for that, because the chrome on the headlight rim is pretty worn and not very nice anyway. And there's a weird hazy fog inside of it that's just made it really dirty and quite ineffective as a light now. You can't see through the glass particularly nicely. I can't get in there to clean it neither. It's sealed together. The reflector is sealed to the glass, so I can't open it up and clean all that. And the headlight in general is just tatty anyway. So I'd been umming and ahhing with replacing it with a new headlamp. And when that lady knocked her over, I kind of made my decision. And like I say, I didn't charge her for the headlamp because I was already toying with the idea of changing it anyway. So, and you've got to be reasonable in these situations. It was a genuine accident, so you know, you can keep it away from the insurance companies and chrome, fully chrome, because this one is just plastic. They are just plastic at the back. So's this one. So's the original. But this one's chrome all over, and it's crystal clean on the lens, and perfect chrome all around the outside of the lamp, which is exactly what we want. It should really, really change the look of it and make it all nice and sexy, really. I will save this lamp. You know, accidents happen. If something cracks the new one, I've always got that I can pop back on. But that's what we're going to do. We're just going to stick that on and see how it looks. And I imagine it's going to look pretty darn special. Only trouble is, I don't really want, after I've put this on, don't really want to mount the GoPro with its big sticky pad to this. I don't know how the chrome on it would react. So we are going to have to come up with some sort of solution to that later on, of where to put the GoPro mount, because we are going to do more tour videos. Okay, so this section is going to be done in fast forward anyway, so it doesn't really matter what I do or say, because Honda, I don't really know what the idea of this is, but these headlamp bolts are unfathomably massive. It's just like, I mean, ridiculously long. There's just really no need for that. I'm spannering them for like 14 days though. A ridiculously oversized bolt for a headlamp. Oh well. Alright, that's that rat's nest of wires reconnected. It's a bit of a, well, actually it was pretty good. It all came apart and went back together really easily. There's not really that much of a deal, except for some of the headlamp wires and side lamp wires are exactly the same colour. So let's see if I've got that right. So what do we want? Side lights, lovely. Dip beam, nothing. But I know that the dip beam is gone in this bulb, completely kippered. So let's see if the I beam. Yep. Pretty sure that's right. Lovely. So let's get it all put together and see what she looks like. Okay, that's on. And chrome. Now, as I said at the start, the chrome back part of it is plastic. It's chromed plastic. Even though it seems to be, I got it off eBay, but it's a genuine lamp. Or at least it's from the original manufacturer. It says what it needs to say on the glass, the same as the other headlamp unit does. But because it is chromed plastic at the back, I would not recommend using any heavy cleaners on it. Just give it a rub with a cloth. Or the old glass and chrome buffing favourite, blue roll. Can't go wrong with a bit of blue roll. It was supplied with the European style yellow side light bulb, which on the other headlamp I'd replaced to LED, but I don't know, let's have a look. I might like it, see if we prefer it. Wow, see, now that's such a classic look, that. Yeah, I quite like that. I quite like the yellow bulb. I think I might stick with that for a while. We'll see. I'll save the other bulb, but yeah, we've got dip back. And we've got high beam back. Beautiful. I love halogen bulbs. You can feel the heat coming through them. Brilliant. And so you can see now what I meant about the where's the OG one? There it is. About this one. Look. Compared to that, I don't know if it's going to show through the GoPro, but you can see how it's just a bit foggy and grubby. And like I say, it's a sealed unit. And somebody said, oh, we get them spring. No, all that happens then is the glass part comes out of the chrome ring, and it is still a sealed unit. And I suppose I could have got in there with some, nah, can't be bothered with that. But that, you can see, is crystal clear, bright and shiny. It just improves the whole sort of look of it. If I can turn it that way without knocking little one over. And you can see, all chrome and shiny. You gotta love a bit of chrome. I know modern bikes aren't that chromy, but this is not a modern bike. So I'm quite happy with that lamp, very nice. I'll put this one back together now and stash it in my little pile of Super Dream parts, because, like I say, occasionally accidents happen, and if this new one manages to get cracked in any way or anything like that, am I going to need that one? So, before we press on to the other little task of this reflector gizmo, let's just fire up and make sure that having all those wires apart hasn't upset anything on the ignition, because I've done all this before with older vehicles where you've messed with one wire that's messed with something else and all that la-di-da. And don't nobody be giving me no nonsense about running the bike in here with a closed garage door. I am not going to gas myself. We have a rear door that's wide open, and there is an extractor fan in the background that runs surprisingly silently and you can't hear. Bit of choke. These old ones, she always, no matter how warm the weather is, she always likes a bit of choke. That noise. What was that? Anyway, so that's all working. I haven't upset anything on the ignition. That's always a plus, especially, you know, with any older vehicle. When you start separating wiring blocks, you never know how well they're going to go back together, particularly if they've come out and they're dirty when you've pulled them apart. But to be fair, everything inside there, inside the wiring blocks, was actually crystal clear. There was not a mark on it. Typical Honda. A little bit of wiggle and it all came apart and went back together perfectly well. So, you know, like I say, it's absolute typical Honda. It just works, and that's what we like. So now, spin the little devil round and get on with this little extra brake lamp. It's a great idea to have extra brake lamps on any vehicle, to be quite honest with you. I got, like I say, I've been rear-ended a few times. I did actually get rear-ended in the truck, in the caddy, in Ernie. That was somebody just not paying attention. They were actually on the phone, and I'd stopped at traffic lights, so it was nothing to do with brake lights. But the wiring on that truck is a bit of a work of art in places. It's sort of been chopped up and rebuilt by lots of different owners. And particularly the driver's side brake lamp on that truck doesn't always work. It has good and bad days. And I don't like that, so I bought this to go on the bike as a bit of a tester. If I like the way it works, I'm going to get another pair of them and just add them somewhere on the bumpers on the back of the truck. So even when its factory brake lights decide they're taking a day off, I've still got nice, clear indication of we're stopping here. And particularly as I'm sort of working on something with the truck, with having the back on it and everything, I might go as far as to, this probably sounds a bit obsessive, but when you've had as many people run into the back of you as I have, you get a bit paranoid about your brake lights. I might actually go for a central one in the middle of that plastic back that I have on it as well. But like I say, I'm not going to use them as tail lamps as well. Although they will do that, that's why there's 3 wires. You can use them as a stop and tail. I'm not actually going to do that with them. I'm literally just going to use them as stop lamps, and when they're not being used as that, they'll sit there like a reflector. Maybe I'm just being a little bit paranoid about being rear-ended, but something I'd like to add to that is up to now, every time that I've had somebody run into the back of me, I've been stationary. It's either at a traffic light or somebody stopped to let somebody out and wham. So to be fair, that has made me naturally cautious, to the point where I would quite happily have them where they're flashing like bloody hell and there's an air horn in it or something, like, because he's just like, oi, behind me, wake up. You know, it's I don't think we're asking much on the average drive about to not have somebody plough into the back of you, but it doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, so we've got to swung around and got the number plate off because the wiring is going to have to go under there and all of that. Now, ordinarily, I would not be, I'm going to have to drill a hole down there to get the wiring through, and ordinarily on a vehicle like this, a classic car, classic bike, I wouldn't be super happy about drilling holes in it unnecessarily. But this plastic number plate, for whatever reason, there's a couple of holes been drilled in there before I got it. Don't really know why, but they're there anyway. So that plastic bit, not really much point trying to protect it too much. It's already been drilled through, and to be honest with you, considering she's 42, parts for this Super Dream are not stupidly expensive, and they're quite readily available. They're all out there on your usual suspects, your eBays, your Amazons, and all of that sort of stuff. But this is why I really wanted to add this extra brake light. Even though I have put what's supposed to be an ultra bright LED brake light in the back of it, there is still not a massive difference there. Now, yes, in here, I get it. We're in a darker environment. That does look like it is a bit different. Oh, it's bright, but in daylight, it really isn't. It's not as good as it looks. So I want more brake lightage, really. I just want more people to know, yeah, that guy's stopping. So, first things first, let's get the seat off and tinker with that. Now, the top box actually stops the seat from coming off. But rather interestingly, when I first got it, I bought it off a guy called Tristan, who is very knowledgeable about this, but many other bikes as well, I imagine, because on the last video I did involving this bike, he commented and told me what the deluxe things were all about on it and this, that and the other, which is cool. But he has his own YouTube channel called Trisfix. I'll put a link into the description to that actually. You guys can check him out. There's all sorts of motorcycle repair antics and stuff like that, and to anybody who's here watching a bike vid who's enjoying that sort of thing, it's probably right up your street, so I'll put a link to that guy and you can have a check of what he's doing. And I'll obviously over tighten that one a bit. But as I was saying, the top box is completely in the way of the seat being removed, but with that, and the whole box just flips upside down. Makes you wonder if you were going camping, you could just fill the box, turn it upside down, strap everything all the way up here, make it look like some Harley Cruiser with a big seat back on it. And then where are my levers? There's one, and the other one's got to be there somewhere. And then there we go, and the whole seat just flops off like that. Let's find somewhere safe to put that, where it's not going to get battered about. Sorry Sally, today you are a table. I do need to take this little bike out actually at some point. Either today or tomorrow. She's not around for a while. Got a few little bits I want to change on this as well. I've got a cable. It's very simple cable it needs for its RPM, rev counter. Probably won't be filming that. That's not the most entertaining thing. Like I say, I appreciate for many people this video might be completely boring. It's not really the video I wanted to make today, but weather is weather is, and I thought, well, we'll stick something up and you can watch it or you don't have to. It doesn't really matter. So, oh yeah, straight up yonder. Oh, that's easy as pie. And it even, that's no bother whatsoever. This is going to be one of the easiest little installs ever. Let's get that box out of the way. Magic, right, so I'm going to need a drill and some drill bits, and we can crack on. So this looks like it's going to be one of the easiest installs of anything ever, because it's almost as if Honda knew you're going to want to do something like this, and they've provided you with plenty of little spaces and stuff under here to get your wires up to where they need to be. Obviously they haven't done that intentionally, but those are little areas up there to get them exactly where you want them, so I'm not going to have to be drilling too many holes just in this plastic bit at the back. And again, this, I wouldn't want to do all this drilling and stuff if this was in good nick, but this thing's pretty poor, to be honest. Somebody's drilled. They've obviously, I don't know if somebody's had one of the proper old school stop lamps that you used to get, you know, the kind of thing you'd find on a Beetle bumper or something like that. But there's two holes, presumably one was the mount, one was the wire, and there's a dirty great scratch. And to be fair, these plastic bumpery bits on the back here, they're not exactly ridiculously priced. It's considering the other vehicles I've got, I mean the Volkswagens aren't too expensive on parts either, to be quite fair, but I'm quite impressed with how available and low cost a lot of the parts on this actually are for its age. But anyway, as to installing this, I feel like the hardest part is going to be getting it something like level, to be fair. Although, to be honest with you, that middle hole seems to be pretty much in the middle anyhow. Because if I like that, look, I put that there. So I'm going to use that hole as a guide. I'm just going to drop the bolt on it. And what are we? Oh, look. Yeah. No, that is pretty much dot on. And then we want to be just in the middle there, so as we're sat right below the number plate. This is where I put it on and then find out I wasn't as in the middle as I thought, because my head's in a bit of a... Nah, that's in the middle enough, that. Surely. Well, not one for using measuring equipment too often. Let's go for it. My only complaint with this is I've got to drill 2 holes instead of 1. What they really should have done is use a hollow bolt there and put the wires coming through that. It would have just made a bit less drill. Like I said, it doesn't matter, but it would have just made it a little bit less on the old drilly side. I now I've got to put 2 holes in it. I'm going to have to do some really rough measure type here, aren't I? Because what I want to know is what height from there do I want to be. Here's where I'll just do something a little bit wiggly and silly with a screwdriver. I know that I don't have a vast amount of clearance under the number plate. Yes, now I know that took a while, and no, the drill bit isn't massively blunt or anything. I was just using very gentle pressure. I really didn't want to push it straight through and into me tyre. That would have been disastrous. As this bike's got really good tyres on them with lots and lots of life left in them. Tristan, the guy I bought it off, was somewhat sad to see it go. He clearly had quite a love of it, and as we do with these old things, to be fair. You know, it's the same as my Volkswagens and stuff. I've had them that long that I couldn't picture myself parting with them. Certainly not by choice. Obviously, in life, situations change, and you know, maybe one day I'll either not have the choice or just not have the ability to keep them, because particularly with the camper van, you have to have either a lot of money or the ability to do the mechanic work and fix it. And people ask me all the time, and there's always somebody say, "Oh, I've always wanted one of them," and I'm like, "Yep, don't we all?" But unless you're either got a heck of a lot of money or you're good at fixing stuff, you really don't want one, because there's always something wants doing. I'm just going to get some tape and wrap that up. Yeah, I'm just going to wrap these wires with some insulation tape so they look a little bit, you won't see them much, but they'll just look a little tidier back there. Where they stick through the number plate. or at least that's my hope. I haven't actually got a I haven't got any heat shrink big enough to do this, so it's going to have to be the good old inso tape. Insulation tape's one of those wonderful things. Insulation tape only sticks to two things: itself and your fingers. Just a bit of tape on that just to make it look a bit tidier in case it is visible down there. Pokey through there. What's that? Yeah, good enough for me. Yeah, I have to admit that is not the most central. Tell you what, let's do a bit of butchery, because like I say, it's already damaged. No one's going to see it. Let's make this a little more adjustable so I can slide it and get it as central as possible. Yes, that seemed just a little bit on the violent side, but it doesn't really matter. You're not going to see it. It's going to be completely covered under by this thing, so there we go. One thing I would advise with this, if you buy one, this was on eBay, it was about 5-6 quid. Yeah, it was really dirt cheap. I literally just searched LED reflective brake light 12 volt and it came up with these, and I liked them because of the style. But I won't bother showing this on the camera, but when I've installed it all and done this, I'm actually, the hole where the wires go through, I'm going to give a really good seal up with silicone, because it's not actually sealed into the unit. You can see space right through to the red reflector. Now, not much of a problem depending on where you're mounting it. This is obviously going on an actual mudguard, so as much as I did say at the start, I'm not planning on taking it out in the rain. Rain happens, so you can be out in the middle of nowhere and splash, and over time it's very likely it's going to throw water in that hole and ruin the thing. Coffee. I love me big Winnie the Pooh cup. So for the sake of a quick squish of silicone or something round it to keep the water out, I'll just do that. Like I say, I can't be bothered to do that on the camera. There's really no point. We can slide him about now. Magic. We can get it level and everything. I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter too. I get a bit obsessive with level and things, but if something stands out and doesn't look right, it doesn't look right, does it? I don't know why I'm bothered though, because it's not me that's going to be staring at it, is it? That'll be everyone behind me. Oh, this is like plugging a plug-in in the dark. Come on. You know, like when you've got a bolt that's facing downwards and you've got one hand to get the washer and the nut on it at the same time. That's what I'm faffing at. There we go, look. Just over there, just over there. Yes! That's level enough for me. Beautiful. This spanner is somewhat slightly overkill for what I'm doing, but I can't be bothered to get up and get a smaller one. So let's not go stupid tight, but I don't want it rattling and vibrating loose. Has that just moved? No, that's about right for me. Nip it a little more. I don't want to over tighten it, it's only plastic. I don't want to be tightening away in here a crunch. That's got it, hasn't it? That's not going anywhere. Lovely. Right, so let's pokey wire up there. Haha, la-di-da. So I'm just going to take advantage of this. There's a couple of holes for the number plate, which is quite a convenience in a sense. As I'm just going to use a cable tie to really just tidy that up and pin it in place. That's a gigantic cable tie. That's far too big. Let me find a smaller one. There we go. That's a much teenier cable ties. I don't want to put a gigantic cable tie through it and then find out I can't fit the number plate bolt in it. That would be very annoying. Although I've done that completely wrong, haven't I? Because I want the actual lumpy bit of the cable tie on the inside out of the way of the number plate. Otherwise, I'll just have the same problem in an opposite way. There we go. Nick him off in a minute. Alrighty then. So, which one of these jobbies is the ground wire? That would be, I believe, this green one here on there. Now this is actually where I'm going to do something that might seem a little on the dodgy side for wiring, because I'm not gonna permanently wire this in, because the bullet connectors and like spade end connectors. I'm going to do the old poke it in and just use the spade to hold it together, and there is a reason for that. I'm not carrying spare bulbs or anything like that, and as I said, I'm not actually going to use this as a tail lamp. I'm going to use it solely as a stop lamp. So, by keeping them in this temporary fashion, if I'm ever out riding and I find out that my tail lamp has stopped working, the bulb's died or something like that, I can just whip the seat off and change this temporary wiring around. Hey ho, I've once again got a tail and stop lamp to get home with, so that I can change the bulb without any trouble. At least that's my genius idea. So I'm just going to poke it through the spade end and stick the thing back on, to be fair. That way it gives me a little bit of playability where I can, like I said, if I get any problem with the tail end, I've got a spare light there, haven't I? Even though it just looks like a little reflector. Yes, thanks to that lovely cover cap that you've got on this, I can't damn well see off. There we go. Right then, so now, quickest way of finding out which one actually is the tail and which one's the stop is I'm just gonna pull this bullet out. That's the tail lamp, and through a process of elimination then, let me just have a look at that. Right, okay, I'm just going to change camera to show you this. So, I'm just using the tail lamp wire, so that, I think, is the tail lamp, yeah, and the stop lamp, the actual brake light, is that. Yeah, it's definitely brighter, isn't it? But what if we use them both? Yeah. See, if we use them both, that is all round much more of a brighter stop lamp altogether. And that is exactly what we want. As much illumination to go into the brake light as absolutely possible. Right then, brought it outside into daylight so we can see it a bit better, but I've got it rigged up exactly the way I want it now. That won't come on with the actual tail lamp, but I do have the option to do that. If I find out the bulb's blown halfway through a ride in the dark, I can simply lift the seat, plug in the other wire, and it will be both at that point, which is cool. It's just to give it that absolute gathering attention, look, I'm brakingness. I'm going to have it sat as a reflector until I touch the brakes, and then it will come up on as a light, or at least that's the intention. I'm going to start her up though to show you this, just because I've been playing around with the electrics without it running for a while. We'll just be better off running. Lovely. So tail lamp should be on. Yep. See, it's a rather unimpressive tail lamp, isn't it? But as soon as I hit the brakes, Beautiful, and that is really all there is to say about that. There's my extra brake lamp. Now nobody's any excuse to not know when I've dropped anchor. And that's pretty much all there is for this video. Like I said, it was supposed to be a bit of bushcraft fishing, but weather being weather, it didn't really make sense, and I just thought as we're on the bike, we've got a few little tinkly bits that we can do. Yes. Shiny and new. And not dented yet. Very pretty. Very pretty. That's what we like. Lovely. So for this quick little video, and that's all it really was meant to be, a quick little video, hopefully I'll be able to get the one I wanted to do done later on in the week and get back to you with that one. But hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, I guess you're not still watching. Like, subscribe, all of that nonsense. I hate asking people to subscribe. Do what you like. I'm really not trying to be famous or anything like that, so if you like it, consider it. If not, you know, I'm not going to cry about it. But that's it for today, and as always guys, get out there, get bushcrafting. When you can't get bushcrafting, get doing something else. Consider getting yourself an extra brake lamp on whatever machine it is that you're using. Be it car, be it bike, hovercraft, unicycle, whatever it is. You can't go wrong with an extra brake lamp. It's always good to clear signals so people know what you're doing. Other than that guys, that's all from me today. Bosun Dan is going to say goodbye and go and get on with the usual weekly chores and stuff. And I will catch you on the next one.